Hi, my beautiful people. How are you tonight? This is ERGJ from ERGJ Television. And tonight we're going to be getting to What is Truth. Doing a quick follow-up to the Gavin Long story, which is regarding the individual who allegedly shot police officers in Baton Rouge. So first, let's go ahead and get started with telling you again about propaganda, guys. Propaganda, again, is illegal for the United States government to lie to the American people. The National Defense Authorization Act, which passed in 2012, allows the U.S. government to use propaganda against American citizens. The United States government has unbound the legal regulations against using propaganda against foreign audiences and American citizens. The intention is to sway public opinion by using television, radio, newspapers, and social media, targeting the American informed people in controlled psyops, controlled psychological operations, staged, scripted events to mess with our minds. And so we are getting back into, I've done quite a few videos on the Gavin Long story. This probably will be my last one unless some new information unfolds. But now, CNN, the gunman stalked Baton Rouge officers before shooting, police say. So the big story now is that he was targeting police, that he was stalking them. You got some pictures of him or somebody walking around with supposedly all black and a mask on. Now, of course, when you start getting into the story, they could be shooting this stuff anywhere, guys. So just keep in mind that there are crisis actors out here. You got great crisis, reporters and all this stuff that goes on. I mean, they are pulling out no stops in order to cover up this story. But we're not going to get into all of that. But basically, the highlights of this story: surveillance video of shootings shows a scene chilling in the sheer brutality, officials say. Gunman Gavin Long appeared to have been in Baton Rouge for days planning the attack. So let's go ahead and go through this and see what they have to say regarding Gavin Long. Because again, Gavin Long supposedly came from Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, to travel to Baton Rouge on his birthday to walk the streets of Baton Rouge with an AR-15 just out in the open, and police were called supposedly, and they pulled up on Gavin, and Gavin just went to town on him supposedly. Now, Gavin was ex-military, Marine, and so even that part of the story sounds funny because I would think that he's strategic enough not to just walk in the middle of the street with a gun. But let's go ahead and go and see what they say. Shortly before the ambush that killed 3 law enforcement officers, the gunman was stalking a Baton Rouge police car with his rifle poised to shoot. Scouting the area in a rental car, Gavin Long initially spotted the patrol car at a convenience store Sunday morning and parked the next door. So this is new. This is the whole new story. They just add on to it, only to find an empty squad car, said Colonel Michael D. Edmondson of the Louisiana State Police, who outlined the guns' movement Monday with the sheriff Gautreaux. Long then drove north on Airline Highway and saw another patrol officer vacuuming his vehicle at a car wash. By the time he had exited the car, that official also disappeared. So they're putting the story, they're tailoring the story, the narrative. Remember, who owns and controls the narrative? It's not us, it's them. It's those that are in control. The owner controls the narrative. The narrative continues to change. Now he was stalking police officers along this highway at some point. So let's keep on going. This stuff, we can't make this stuff up, guys. It's real life Hollywood. The story is now being scripted or narrated to fix their to align with their story, to give it to the general public. And guess what, guys? The general public is going to believe every word that they say. They're not going to question things. And I'm going to ask a couple of questions now. And you see all this chaos going on in the questions over here. You can watch that if you like. But Long made his way back behind buildings near the Be Quick gas station, convenience store. Baton Rouge officers Matthew Gerald, 41, and Montreal Jackson, 30, were behind the building next to the Be Quick, along with Sheriff's Deputy Brad Garofalo. Okay, so why were the officers just hanging out behind the gas station? I don't know. Skilled, look at this, guys. Can't make this stuff. Skilled in his handling of an assault rifle, Long, an ex-Marine, moved to ambush the officers, Edmondson said. Surveillance video captured the calculated attack and showed a scene that was chilling in sheer brutality. Now, if you guys remember, from the beginning, they said that he was walking in the middle of the street and the cops were called regarding a man walking in the middle of the street with an assault rifle. Let's see if that is still a part of this story, if that's changed. Because again, they control the story. They can change it however they like. There's no doubt whatsoever that these officers were targeted and assassinated, he said. Long appeared to have been in Baton Rouge for days planning his attack, which also wounded 3 other officers. Investigators are tracking his whereabouts before the 8:40 a.m. Sunday ambush to determine with whom he had contact and who may have known about his plans. That's important, guys. This is important. We're going to come to this a little bit later. Who may have known about his plans? Look at that. That's a key indicator for this story, because when we talk about some of the other things that are going on, it's going to be very, very interesting. We want to know about what brought him here, what kept him here, and why he killed police, he said. Baton Rouge ambush followed on the heels of the Dallas attack. Again, his connection to Dallas. Mr. Long was apparently in Dallas as well. He was at that scene and witnessed that scene before those cops went down. I think those cops went down on Friday, I believe, or Thursday. So he went from Dallas on Thursday, supposedly to Louisiana. If he was in Dallas when when those 5 cops were shot, and that's from one of his YouTube videos that he mentioned that he was in Dallas. In both cases involving skilled gunmen and multiple casualties. So in one case, they're saying there was a notion that he was there and he witnessed the shooting in Dallas, and then he became the shooter in Louisiana. Guys, I can't make this stuff up. Just continue to watch my other videos. I'm trying to piece all this stuff together as I get information. Gertrude Goutreau, the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff, said he was convinced that if the Baton Rouge SWAT team had not arrived when it did, 2 additional deputies who were wounded would be dead, and the gunman would have escaped attack to attack more officers. The SWAT team training kicked in and performed flawlessly in response to the ambush and the motion of Baton Rouge police officers. So this is interesting, guys. Again, they're saying ambush, but this word ambush is now fitting a new narrative. Every time they come in and update the story changes. This is how you know that it's a lie. Now, I'm not saying that people didn't die. What I don't question the loss of life. What I question is the story, and I'm glad that I make videos along the way, because we can go back and read the other stories that have then been updated or changed. So here's what these people will do, guys. They will change history. They will literally change history on you. You go back and read something, you're like, it's called the Mandela effect. You'll go back and read something like, I know I read this before, but now it says something different. Why? Because they own and control what it is that you read. So I'm so glad that I'm getting this stuff on camera and video so that it can't be changed, that I have hard copies of the stuff that we've been through along the way with this story. So a SWAT team rifle took the gunman out for more than 100 yards without a clear line of sight. Isn't that interesting? The shot, I'm not going to keep reading. I think you guys get the point here. You can go on the details of the ambush. One suspect Gavin parks behind the fitness center. I guess 2 long shoots and kills another responding officer is shot, injured, 4 injured. So that's the story. He supposedly was, targeting cops. He, was checking out different police cars to see who could shoot. He came all the way from Missouri or from Dallas, and then went to Louisiana in order to shoot up cops. This ex-military guy, this guy who retired from the military, guy who was a sergeant, that's the story that they want us to believe. And you got to ask yourself, and this is the thing, you got to ask questions. Now, here's what also kind of went down the pike as well. So this is on CNN, guys. This is on a national media outlet. Well, look, we talked yesterday about an email that was sent to Financial Juneteenth, which is not national, not a national, website or media source, but supposedly Gavin Long was a student of Dr. Boyce Watkins and the Black Wealth Boot Camp, and he sent emails to Dr. Boyce Watkins before he passed away. I thought this was very interesting. I said, well, if everything else as it relates to Gavin Long has been on national news, then why would these emails not be on national news? And so we talked about this email yesterday. Again, Financial Juneteenth aims to be information hub that empowers Black wealth creation. They're behind FJT's fresh and insightful content that helps you think, learn, laugh, and move towards action to create a stronger Black community. And so this, Financial Juneteenth is all about strengthening the Black community, Black wealth. There's a connection in theory, not reality, but in theory to Black Lives Matter. If you think about a Black community, think about Black wealth. That would say that Black lives do matter or Black wealth matters. So there's some symbolism there that they're using to connect this militant. Now, of course, if you listen to any of the remaining videos by Gavin Long, you'll start to understand some of his psyche and how he was, pro-Black at the end of the day. And so we talked about this video or this email the other day. I'm gonna go on to the next email. But the one thing I want you to understand, guys, is that his YouTube video, the original one, it says it has links to my two YouTube channels, right? Click on the first one and you'll see that it's no longer up. Now, this was interesting because when the story first came out, my team went and looked at this YouTube video, YouTube channel, and it was up, and it had about 40 videos up, and we watched them all. But now look at this. YouTube is in on this psyop. Look what YouTube says. Men, it's time to sacrifice. And then obviously the YouTube account associated with this video has been terminated. This word here, this statement here gives us an indication that Gavin Long, his death or his march against the military or authorization, that Gavin Long was a sacrifice. He was a sacrifice for the agenda, to push the agenda forward, to push the conflict, the race war forward, to push that forward so we can bring forth the agenda of gun control and martial law. Gavin Long was a sacrifice. That is my idea. So why, you got to ask yourself, well, YouTube, you took this video down, you took this channel down. Why did you have to leave this statement here? Men, it's time to sacrifice. No coincidence there, guys. Really is no coincidence. So they are, again, controlled psyops. They're messing with our minds. So the first YouTube channel was taken down. This was a YouTube channel that had about 40 of his videos. And this same YouTube channel, this email that supposedly was sent to Boyce Watkins and some other people, it's nothing more than a transcript from one of his videos that is no longer available to the public. And so in one of what Boyce Watkins would say is that he doesn't believe in conspiracy theories because there's no proof. And I would say, well, it's hard to prove something when the proof gets deleted. We see that this channel was around, but it got deleted. And they even mock us in our face with this cryptic statement, men, it's time to sacrifice, which I believe is telling us that Gavin Long, that he was nothing more than a sacrifice to push forth the agenda to bring more conflict in this race war. And then also to push forth the agenda so as we fight and have conflict with one another, civilians against police, Black Lives Matter versus Blue Lives Matter, it'll bring forth, gun control, which is the big agenda. And then ultimately, quite possibly, we're looking at martial law if we can't learn to get along. My statement to everyone is stay out the streets, love one another, hug your neighbor, hug a police officer, something. We got to stop fighting because if we stay divided, we will fall. And guess who doesn't fall? All of the rich and famous people, they do not fall. Only the poor people fall. All right. So we'll talk about the second email because it came up and said, hey, there's a second email. So look, in this message, again, back to Financial Juneteenth, you got to ask yourself, well, if everything else has been on national news, things like CNN and Fox, why are these two emails, being sent to Dr. Boyce Watkins and it's local news? Why is that? Well, I'll tell you what the link is. So apparently, Gavin Long was a student of Dr. Boyce Watkins. And on his second channel, we'll see the connection to Dr. Boyce Watkins here as we look at his YouTube videos. He's got like 3 of them, and Dr. Boyce is in 3 of these videos. And so the idea is that Gavin Long was in the Intelligent Boss Moves, class that Dr. Boyce Watkins, holds. And then you got to say, well, why would he send emails to Dr. Boyce before he passed? I mean, you know, when I look at these emails, again, what I see is nothing more than translated. I see nothing more than transcripted messages from his videos that are no longer available to the public. The videos that were on his first channel, the videos that was on his first channel that's now been taken down by YouTube, were transcribed to become emails that were sent to Boyce Watkins. So my question to Mr. Watkins, or to Financial Juneteenth, is when were these emails sent to you? See, we won't ask questions like that. No one in the public will ask questions like that. We'll say you got an email before he died. And our team has found that these emails are nothing more but transcripted versions of the videos that he already had out, that being Cosmo, that being Gavin Long. Now, our question is, well, when did you receive these emails? Then my second question is, from a bigger standpoint, why would they bring Dr. Boyce Watkins, why would they bring Financial Juneteenth into this narrative? Well, it has a big impact on the Black community. As you notice, only the Black community is getting this information for the most part. The Black community is wondering what's going on because we understand that there's a different story that's being told about Gavin Long that's been on the streets versus what's in the public eye. And there's this connection between Gavin Long and the Black community, or Gavin Long and Dr. Boyce Watkins, is through this school. So they would have us to believe that before this man on his birthday traveled from Dallas to Louisiana to go shoot some cops, at some point in time, he sent some emails to Dr. Boyce Watkins. So that means that would give the impression that Dr. Boyce Watkins was someone he looked up to. Dr. Boyce Watkins was a friend of his, which I doubt, because if we listen to Dr. Boyce Watkins' videos, he doesn't really know the guy. So what would be incumbent upon Gavin Long to send emails to Dr. Boyce Watkins? And so I would say that that's a lie. I don't believe that these emails were sent to Dr. Boyce Watkins and Financial Juneteenth before Gavin Long passed away. But of course, we probably would never find out, because questions like that don't get answered. We can ask them all we want, but will we ever get a transcript? Will we ever get a timestamp on these emails that supposedly were sent by a man who passed away? So my assumption is that we got dead man's emails being sent to another individual to bring them into the story, to be another part of the plot, not the plot, because he's not part of the plot, but part of the narrative, so that now we can have the Black community a little bit under control. Now, here's what's interesting about this. Today, on July 19th, if we look, I'm gonna put 2 links to videos for you guys to watch from Dr. Boyce Watkins. Apparently, CNN was going to have a press conference or an interview with Dr. Boyce Watkins. I found that very interesting. Dr. Boyce is pretty much not as mainstream as he used to be. Every now and then he'll do an interview on CNN. But what timing to talk about Gavin Long and Michael X. Johnson, who was the shooter from Dallas, today at 10:15. Now, it didn't take place because of the plagiarism fiasco that's going on in the Republican National Committee. But I thought it was very interesting that what a time to have that interview, not to talk about Black wealth, boot camp, not to talk about strengthening the Black community, but to talk about Gavin Long and Michael X. Johnson. Again, these are the type of questions that I ask, guys. And my curiosity tells me to keep on asking questions until we find truth. All right. So let's take this. On Financial Juneteenth, we've decided to release a series of emails. They've decided to release a series of emails that have been sent by alleged Baton Rouge shooter. So they let us know, hey, this might not have necessarily been sent by Gavin Long, but here's the emails that we got. We want to Dr. Boyce Watkins. The media has widely reported that Gavin was a student in the Intelligent Boss Moves course taught by Dr. Watkins and Damon Dash. The release of these messages has been done to ensure that you can hear Gavin's perspective in his own words rather than from the media. Even though, quite honestly, guys, you are the media. Once you put the email out, you become the media as well. Different media, not mainstream, underground media, you could say, but still media nonetheless. Definitely doesn't have the same scope or reach that a CNN would have. but you are the media at this point. You got a website. You are the media. In the message, Gavin speaks about the fact that his knowledge, the Baton Rouge police never released the body cam footage of the killing of Alton Sterling. So we got some linking not to Alton Sterling, who was in Baton Rouge. We got linking from Gavin to Dallas, where he apparently was when that shooting took place. So that's why I'm saying that Gavin was a sacrifice, because I believe that he was in the know, that he was his time had come to do his service to the powers that be, and that is to facilitate a PSYOP, a controlled PSYOP, where we continue to push forth the race war conflict for the ultimate agenda of gun control and martial law. According to the cops, the body cams on both officers fell off during the altercation, and footage hadn't been released to the public to allow people to see whether cameras fell off the officers' bodies. Now, I agree with that totally 100%. We never, everybody's got police cameras, but for some reason we never see the footage. And that was from the Alton Sterling case, where they said that the cameras malfunctioned, so they couldn't release any video on those police cameras, no body cameras that they wore. So peace, family. This is from Gavin Long. The Spirit brought me something today that I haven't heard one person ask yet. I was asked the same question as well, and that is the demand to see the body cam video from Alton Sterling's shooting. Now, I would say we would also, in this email, we can also demand to see the body cam video from these officers that got shot in this shooting. I mean, we can demand to see that as well. I don't think anybody's going to ask those questions, but we definitely should be in the loop to ask those type of questions. Where is the body cam video from this Orlando shooting? Not only from the one from Alton Sterling, but what about the one from the police that just got shot? Yes, they said the body cam fell off, and so allegedly that's why people couldn't see the shooting. But we, the people, still have a right to see the video no matter what happened. Let us see what was recorded anyway. We can't just take their word. Hey, we can't just take their word. This guy's very smart, just like the mainstream media, just like this particular email that's being sent. We can't just take their word. We got to start asking questions. Our curiosity is what will lead us to truth. If 2 body cameras fell off, then let us see the videos with that body cameras falling off, if that's what really happened. This is why they treat us like shit, because one, they tell us anything and we will accept it without questioning it. I agree. And this is a message for anybody that's watching this video. Yeah, they tell us anything and we will accept it without questioning it. Just like this email comes out to us and they'll tell us this, but we don't question it. And number 2, we don't stand on our rights. We must stop being quote unquote adults, meaning we must get back to our childlike curiosity. Look at that. When you become curious, guys, you begin to search for truth. You start asking questions. Why? How did that happen? That doesn't make sense. Think about like how a child would do. They ask a lot of questions till they get to something that is logical. And this whole story, the story they keep changing to fit the narrative, the story that they keep modifying, it is not making sense. It does not pass the logic test. It does not pass the truth test, in my opinion. Now think about it. Never can you satisfy a normal child with just one answer to his question. The child continues to ask more questions once he receives an answer. However, we as adults just take an answer and walk away with whatever answer someone gives us. Hell no. We have to quit this immediately. You continue asking questions until you get to the bottom of it. Look at this. Question their answers. Get out of the adult mindset. Get back into your childlike mindset where you are still curious, still searching, still seeking. And that's what we're doing here, truth seekers. We're still searching. We're still seeking. Now, most people look at this and won't even take any of it to heart. But this message here is mocking us as people, saying that we're telling you exactly what you need to do if you want to find truth. But guess what? You're going to blow right past these messages thinking that it means nothing, and you're going to stay in your adult mindset versus being your childlike mindset, and you'll never be able to find truth. You'll never be able to find out what really happened in this story. Again, not that people didn't pass away, but what really happened. If you ask anybody on the streets in Baton Rouge that day, you'll find a whole different story, a story that's being covered up in order for them to create a story around the way they want that story to be told. We don't own and control the media, guys, and therefore we don't own and control the story. But one thing that I found is that you can't hide truth and you can't fake real. So that's how we are supposed to be forever. So remember this principle for the next incident or the next time they want to give their half-ass answers. Question everything, and even the answer they give you. This is very prophetic, email supposedly that's sent to Dr. Boyce Watkins in order for him to put it on his platform. Again, I wonder, when did he receive this email? And secondarily, from the YouTube site that's been deleted, saying, man, it's time to sacrifice, making Gavin Young a sacrifice, a sacrificial lamb. All of the videos that were there have disappeared on his first channel. Many of those videos have been transcribed and have become emails that's been sent to Dr. Boyce Watkins, along with whoever else. He said in his first email, he said that emails were sent to Dr. Boyce Watkins and other individuals. I wonder who those other individuals are that received these emails. He mentioned in his videos that he's put out that maybe one was Yakima Kimura, I believe, and then also Tariq Nasheed. But they're both connected to Dr. Boyce Watkins, or they've done business together. So it's very interesting, man, as we begin to ask questions, as this email tells us. Ask questions, continue searching, still seeking. Question everything, and even the answer they give you. So I've got questions for Financial Juneteenth. I've got questions for Dr. Boyce Watkins. No, I'm not saying he had anything to do with the plot or this narrative that's being written by those who own and control the media. But I do have a question as to why they brought him into this. Obviously, the connection between him and the Gavin Long and the Intelligent Boss Moves course. But why is this not on mainstream media, guys? Why is this just going through this underground channel that only really reaches Black folk? Think about it. We can't make this stuff up. There are a lot of pawns in this play. It's a real life motion picture. This is real life Hollywood. And there's a reason why they decided to take this avenue and bring us this information through this underground site, or this site that targets Black folk. Obviously, a lot of white folk aren't going to be reading this. But and that's, and it versus CNN. This information could very easily be on CNN or Fox right now, but it's not. And there's a reason for that. So anyway, what I'll do is in the comments below, guys, I'm going to leave these two YouTube websites for you to listen to. It's 47 minutes and 40 minutes long. And he talks about these emails, and he talks about his CNN interview that didn't take place, but he talks about going to CNN, and you'll start to uncover quite a few things, because you can get to hear things from the horse's mouth. At any rate, man, it's all about seeking and finding truth. I'm not trying to bring anyone's name down or anything like that. What I'm looking for is the truth. And we can tell just by the story that continues to go forth that what they're giving us is not the truth. It's not the whole truth and nothing but the truth. It is scripted. It is changed. It's edited in order to now give us the idea that this man was ambushing cops. And if you are an intelligent person, you know that's not the case, especially if you go back to what they originally said, with the man just walking down the street with an AR-15 and all black with a black mask. That whole part of the story has changed now to him, basically, stalking police officers in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where he came from, traveled from Dallas, and he's originally from Kansas City, Missouri. Don't believe the hype, guys. If you guys find any information that will be helpful, feel free to leave that in the comments below. Make sure that you like, you share, and you subscribe to this channel as we continue to seek truth together. And as you do that, guys, as you seek truth, it's the truth that'll set you free.